Hey, accredited investors, I'm excited to announce that we have a new deal right now. It's a 78 unit building, 5 minutes from the Kentucky Derby. Its rents are presently 20% below market for renovated units. To learn more, all you need to do is go to homeinvest.com or click in the description below. Always consult with a tax advisor, financial planner, and/or attorney before making investment decisions. Having said all that, all you need to do to learn more is go to homeinvest.com or click in the description below.
With the market where it is right now and all the news going on in the world about the coming recession, are you looking for a place to invest your money passively and get great returns? Do you want to know how to avoid the biggest pitfalls and mistakes that people make when invested passively? If so, you are in the right place. This is Purpose-Driven Passive Profits. His name's Nate Armstrong. He is the founder of Home Invest. My name's Steve Werner. I am the Chief Investment Officer. We're going to be hanging out with you, talking about the biggest mistakes to avoid. This is part 3 in our series. Welcome to Purpose-Driven Passive Profits. Nate, how are you doing today?
Awesome, Steve. Just had our baby, our third little girl, our third child. It's a little girl. So I'm pumped, man. I feel blessed.
Awesome. Well, I am excited for you. I'm excited for your baby for sure. I'm also excited about the market that we are going into. So many people right now are talking about, the economy's changing, the recession coming. We're finally going to be able to invest. We're going to make some money. You hear some people out there throwing around huge numbers, huge ROI, huge IRRs. They're talking about, you should come invest with us. You should do multifamily over here. There are all these people putting deals out. We talked in our 2 previous episodes about how to find the right state to invest in. We talked about the right asset class of property. The third one, though, which is the thing that I really think separates everything else, is the class of operator. Because if you have a good operator, a good operator can take an okay deal, make you feel secure, make sure you get good rate of returns, and ultimately you'll sleep better at night. Somebody who's out there promising the world and under delivering definitely can help you lose sleep as well as lose some money. Nate, you've been in this game for over 20 years. What should people be looking for when they look at a deal and a deal operator specifically?
Yeah. The first thing is I think we should look for the number of successful projects that they've had. Like hype and whatever else, ROIs, pro formas, it doesn't mean much. When things get a little difficult, you're looking for someone that's been in the game. They've been doing this for a long time and they've had successful projects, a good number of them. It's like if you're going to go for the person that's going to win the basketball championship, do you take the flashy new rookie or do you take Michael Jordan? I'm going to take Michael Jordan all day long because he's been there. He knows how to handle the pressure. And I say that not only because we are operators in the space, but because I put my money into these deals. I just got done helping my wife roll over an IRA that she's putting into one of our deals. Like we're managing our own money inside of these deals. And it's what I look for when I'm going into one.
I mean, that really is the key. How do you go about that when you're talking to an operator? Because they don't have to list everything that they've done. How do you actually find out whether or not they've been successful? What are some key things that you would look for?
Yeah. I would do an interview with them. Number one, I'd do some kind of phone call and just ask the tough questions. Ask the questions that you're thinking in the back of your mind that maybe they don't come up in a normal conversation, but ask the tough questions anyways. Pretend that you're interviewing someone to watch your children while you're going to be gone for a week. What kind of questions would you ask them? For interviewing an operator, I would want to know things like, well, hey, what are your current numbers in your portfolio? What's your current vacancy rate? How long does it take you to turn over units? When you've got a tenant that moves out, how long does it take you on average to fill that unit? These are the numbers below the numbers. Like ROI is one thing, IRR is another thing, but what actually drives those numbers are the people paying the income to you as the owner, which is a tenant. And so if they've got bad numbers on occupancy or vacancy, then it'll tell you a lot right up front. So I would ask those kinds of questions.
That is a really good one, right? Because it does get just to the heart of the matter. What's something else that you would ask as far as like character traits, or can you ask for what was your last property that you did? What's a current property that you're doing? Can we talk to other investors that have been involved with you? How do you find out if somebody has had a property that maybe went south and they lost money for the investor? Is there somewhere that they can look and check those numbers?
Yeah, I wish there was like a directory out there where you could see that, but that doesn't exist because these are usually they're private syndications. They're not registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission or anything like that. But a simple Google search will tell you a lot. I would ask for past property addresses. I would Google those addresses. I'd check them out, and I would just make sure that the story that they tell you aligns with what you find for yourself. Do a little due diligence tour. It'd probably only take you 20 minutes on a phone call to interview them, take a bunch of notes, and then go to Google for another 25, 30 minutes and just check it out. And if you see that there's congruency, it's a really good sign. If you see something that's incongruent, that's something that I'd be concerned about. Most operators that are out there, they probably had a setback at some point in their career. And if they don't tell you about that, or if they don't tell you what they learned from it, then I'd be really, really scared. It's no different than anyone that's good at in what their profession is. They've probably gone through a learning curve at some point. And so generally speaking, the people that have been in the game the longer amount of time, they're usually better because they've been through market cycles. They know how to handle things when there's a lot of change. Everybody looks like a genius when the market's going up, 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 up. But then as soon as there's tough times, like there's a credit crunch or banks collapsing and it's harder to get financing on these buildings, that's when people's true colors are tested. And so I'd want to work with an operator that's at least been through a couple of cycles like that, or at least through one cycle in the past. So, but yeah, that's how I would do it. I'd interview them and start Google searching and checking to see if their story lines up.
I mean, that is really good. You're 100% right. It's when things are easy, it's really easy to have a great relationship where you really get to know somebody. I mean, think about your husband or your wife if you're listening to this. Like when you started to have some tough times, like we all have some tough times, when you have those, you get to really learn what somebody is made of, how they respond to things, how they're going to take responsibility, and ultimately how that will affect you. Nate, if you were interviewing an operator, I know we talked about like how long does it take to do a tenant turnover. That has to do with like how you're renting right now, how you're running it. Is there a question that comes to mind that you would ask them that would show how they handled a negative incident or how they handled something when things got really tough?
Yeah, I would straight up just say, hey, tell me about a time when you failed on a project. What happened? Tell me all the details. I would straight up just ask that question. And if there's hesitation, or if there's like, oh, I've never failed before, that's a red flag. It's kind of like if you're interviewing someone for a job, you would ask the question, hey, can you tell me about a time you made a mistake in the past? As someone that hires people, if someone wasn't forthcoming about a mistake that they made, I would know that they're not telling the truth. So I would just ask the operator that straight up question. Hey, can you tell me about a time where you failed on a project in the past or something didn't go as planned? What happened? Tell me the circumstances. And I would just pull out from that real life story. That's the important part. You want a real life story. And if you get that, you'll be able to sift through and figure out, what happened and why it happened and have they become a better operator and all that kind of stuff really fast.
Awesome. If you're listening to this and you are looking to make a passive investment as an accredited investor, we have a deal for you right now. You can click in the description down below. It's in one of the best states for multifamily syndication. It also is in the right asset class. It is a C plus property or B minus property. What would you say it is, Nate? You probably are going to be a little more specific.
Yeah, it's right on the edge. I'd say the day that on takeover, C plus, probably when we're done with it, low B. It's rented out. There's nurses that live in the property now. Like it's a legit property. It's not like some low end property. But the previous owner, they just neglected it. They let some stuff go, and consequently, rents on day of takeover are 20% below the rest of the market. So we have a really easy job in front of us. It's go in, clean up the property, and boost rents to market rate. We do that. We exceed every single projection on this property for our investors. That deal is almost completely subscribed. So if you're interested in that one, just let us know right away. There won't even be a wait list for this one because it's going to be overfilled very, very soon. If that one doesn't make sense, then let us know. Maybe there's another one that we can connect you with in the future.
Awesome. You can click in the description down below, or you can go to homeinvest.com to hear about our current offerings. Thanks so much for joining us, and we will see you next time on Purpose Driven Passive Profits. Thanks so much for listening to our show today. Here's Nate with our latest offering.
Oh, so I'm excited to announce this. We've got a 78 unit building, multifamily property. It's 5 minutes from the Kentucky Derby. Its rents are presently 20% below market for renovated units. To learn more, all you need to do is go to homeinvest.com or click in the description below.